What is assault and battery with a dangerous weapon in the state of Oklahoma? I'm Tulsa attorney James Wirth, and that's the question that we have here. We're doing a series of videos related to crimes regarding assault and battery in the state of Oklahoma, and this one deals with assault and battery with a dangerous weapon. So assault and battery, that is just a use of violence upon the person of another, but it goes from being a misdemeanor with 90 days potential jail time to a felony with up to 10 years potential jail time if it is with a dangerous weapon. So what is the state required to prove in order to find somebody, have someone found guilty of assault and battery with a dangerous weapon? Well, we have them in the jury instructions. That's usually the most succinct way to get to what the law requires. If you are a defendant and it goes to trial, that's the information they give to the jury that the jury uses to decide the case. So that is generally a pretty succinct, easy to read layout of the law. So what it says is no person may be convicted of assault, battery, or assault and battery with a sharp or dangerous weapon unless the state has proven beyond a reasonable doubt each of the elements of the crime. These elements are as follows. First, either assault, a battery, or assault and battery. Second, upon the person of another. Third, with a sharp or dangerous weapon. Fourth, without justifiable or excusable cause. And fifth, with intent to do bodily harm. Okay, so first one we want to talk about without justifiable or excusable harm. If you have some sort of self-defense or if there was some sort of consent or something that may get it out of there. But generally speaking, if you use a dangerous weapon upon the person of another person, that is not excusable. So what we really look at here is the main parts of this is that we've got to have a sharp or dangerous weapon and we have to have an intent to do bodily harm. Simple assault and battery is generally a general intent crime. You have to intend the act, but you don't have to intend the result or exactly how things went down. In order to be found guilty of assault and battery with a dangerous weapon, it requires specific intent. You have to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that the person intended to do bodily harm to the other person. And that is more than is required if it is assault and battery with a deadly weapon. So sometimes it can be more difficult to prove a dangerous weapon charge than a deadly weapon charge because of that specific intent. So what makes something a dangerous weapon? Well, that's where it gets a little bit easier for the state because that is a little bit more broad than you might expect. So we've got a definition there. It also talks about it being a sharp weapon. So obviously any kind of knife or pistol, firearm, gun, any of those types of things. But also basically anything else can be as well as long as it's likely to produce death or great bodily harm in the manner that it's used. So it's not what the weapon is, it's how you use the weapon that determines whether it is a dangerous weapon or not. So obviously knives, guns, clear cut that they can be a dangerous weapon if they're used as they're generally intended to be used. However, other items used not as they're intended to be used can also be considered to be a dangerous weapon. I've seen a case where someone was charged with assault and battery with a dangerous weapon because they threw a glass bottle at somebody. So a glass bottle is not meant to be a dangerous weapon, but it can cause great bodily harm if it is used in the right way. Also saw another one where someone was charged with assault and battery with a dangerous weapon where the weapon was a sidewalk, just the curb, where they put somebody on a curb and then they hit them against the curb. They alleged that the curb was the dangerous weapon. So we've seen some interesting prosecutions, some creative prosecutors charging that because it's not the type of weapon, it is how the defendant used the weapon that makes it a dangerous weapon. So those are the main differences that gets it being from misdemeanor to a felony, but also what keeps it from being a deadly is one, you have to have the specific intent to do bodily harm, and two, it's not about the type of weapon, it's about how that weapon is used. So if you're dealing with allegations against you in the state of Oklahoma, you're going to want to know more than just the information in this video. You're going to want legal advice specific to your circumstances. To get an appointment scheduled with an attorney at my office to get that legal advice, you go online to makelaweasy.com.